Hello, friends, welcome back to revision time. I hope you all are doing good. So, today we are going to start life processes, which is chapter number 6 of CBSE class 10. So, what are life processes? Human body is always in motion. While we are awake or asleep, day or night, we are moving or sitting, some processes are always going on. So, while our body is capable of doing so many things, it needs to be maintained. And the processes which are useful for the maintenance of the body and the functions, they are known as life processes. And these life processes are going on in all living organisms, as they are also working day and night without any break. Some of the major life processes are as follows, that is nutrition, respiration, transportation, circulation and excretion. So first of all, let us start with nutrition. So the maintenance work of the body, it needs energy, and this energy is acquired from outside through food. So the process of obtaining energy in the form of food from outside the body is known as nutrition. There are two major type of organisms. First are the autotrophs and second are the heterotrophs. The organisms which are using simple substances such as carbon dioxide and water and prepare their own food, they are known as autotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is known as autotrophic nutrition. For example, plants and bacteria. On the other hand, the organisms who are using complex substances are called heterotrophs, and these complex substances are broken down to simpler ones so that they can be used by the body easily. These are broken down using enzymes. So we will know what are enzymes as we go further. Also, these complex substances are generally obtained from the autotrophs, that is from plants. So heterotrophs are dependent on autotrophs. What is autotrophic mode of nutrition? Major process is known as photosynthesis, that is in green plants. So the process in which carbon dioxide and water are converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll is known as photosynthesis. So what are the major components of the photosynthesis? We need carbon dioxide, we need water, we need sunlight and chlorophyll. Basic equation for photosynthesis is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 of water are converted to glucose, which is a 6 carbon molecule, releasing oxygen and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. This is the main equation of photosynthesis. Glucose is a carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is used as energy by the plants, and excess carbohydrate is stored as starch in plants and glycogen in animals. So what are the events of photosynthesis? Now let us see what are the steps of photosynthesis. The first is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. So chlorophyll and sunlight. Chlorophyll is the green component present in the leaves, and this chlorophyll is responsible for the absorption of light energy, that is sunlight. This light energy is the chemical energy, then it is converted into the chemical energy. Water is also obtained. This is obtained from the roots, from the soil of water through roots. This water is dissociated into hydrogen and oxygen. Then reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates take place. Now carbon dioxide in the presence of water is converted to 6 carbon glucose molecule. So now it is not necessary that these steps take place immediately one after another. For example, in desert plants, at night the desert plants take up carbon dioxide and form an intermediate, right? So the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during day and the process follows. So during day, when the sunlight is there, the chlorophyll absorb the energy and the process continues. So stomata. Stomata are the pores in the epidermis of leaf for the gaseous exchange and transportation. The cells working in the stomata are known as guard cells. These are the guard cells. These are the kidney shaped or bean shaped cells. When the water flows in, the guard cells swell up. This is the swollen guard cell, and the pores open. Now the open pores, they allow the gaseous exchange. This is the guard cell which is in shrink position and the pore is closed. So now there will be no gaseous exchange. Also, gaseous exchange can occur through stem and root surfaces. So in plant photosynthesis, water is obtained from soil by the roots. I have already told this. Nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and magnesium. These are other elements which are required for the growth of plants. These are also obtained from soil. Nitrogen is essential for the synthesis of proteins, and it is obtained from the inorganic nitrates and nitrites which are also present in the soil. So now heterotrophic mode of nutrition. First let us see this mode of nutrition in the amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. It is a microorganism. So amoeba have finger-like projections which is known as pseudopodia. Pseudo means false, podia means feet, hence false feet. These pseudopodia are the finger-like projections which give the amoeba the flexibility, and it keeps on changing shape due to the presence of pseudopodia. So now for what happens in the nutrition in amoeba? So this is the food particle. Pseudopodia fuse over the food particle and engulfs it through the invagination of plasma membrane. This is the invagination of plasma membrane. A cup shaped structure is formed here and the food particle is engulfed in. Then the food vacuole is formed and one food particle is inside the body. Now food is broken down into simpler forms by the food vacuole, and ultimately this food gets absorbed or diffused into the cytoplasm. Right? So next we will see what is the mode of nutrition in human beings. So the basic process of nutrition is ingestion followed by digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. So what is ingestion? It is the eating of food through mouth. Digestion is breaking up of food to the simpler forms. Absorption is through the intestinal wall. Assimilation is the absorbed food is used by body cells for energy, growth and repair. And what is egestion? It is the removal of undigested food from the body. The process of nutrition takes place through alimentary canal, which is a long tube extended from mouth to anus. What are the components of the digestive system of human beings? Mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. These are the main components of the alimentary canal. Some other components are also the part of digestive system, such as liver, pancreas, gallbladder, enzymes and juices. These are the accessory components. So what are enzymes? These are the biocatalysts, which means the speed of the biological reactions. These are proteinic in nature. An enzyme needs a substrate and it produces a product. So this is the diagram of a human digestive system. This is mouth. The long tube is known as esophagus. It is generally known as food pipe. This is the stomach, which is J-shaped structure. This leafy structure is pancreas. This highly coiled structure is known as small intestine. This is the large intestine. This is rectum, anus, vermiform appendix. This small structure here is a gallbladder and this is a liver. Liver is bilobed. So now let us see the process of digestion in human beings. So what is digestion? It is the process which involves the breakdown of complex food particles to small particles which are easily absorbed and assimilated into the body. So the first part is mouth, which is for the ingestion of food, and the main functional parts are teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. Teeth. Teeth is for the mechanical breakdown of food, which is done by teeth by the process of chewing. Dental formula of milk teeth is this. I is for incisors, canines, and molars. These are 2 for the upper jaw and lower jaw and make up to 20 teeth. The permanent set of teeth involves incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Premolars are not present in the young ones, and this total up to 32 teeth. Tongue. Tongue has taste buds. So these are the position of the taste buds for sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. Salivary glands. So these are the glands in the mouth which are useful for the chemical breakdown. So what is the function? The salivary glands secrete saliva having the enzyme salivary amylase. So what this salivary amylase do? It converts starch, which is a carbohydrate, to sugar. Okay, so now chewed food mixed with saliva is now known as bolus. We don't call it as food, now we call it as bolus. In mouth, only chemical digestion of carbohydrates is done through salivary amylase. No other component like proteins or fats are digested in mouth, only carbohydrates. Salivary amylase is also known as ptyalin. So next is esophagus. We spell it as this also. This is also known as food pipe. Food is taken to stomach through esophagus, food in the form of bolus. So rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles is known as peristaltic movement. This peristaltic movement is carried out by the complete alimentary canal. It starts from the esophagus. So no mechanical or chemical breakdown of food occurs in esophagus. The only function is to take the food to stomach. Next is stomach. Stomach is the J-shaped organ. So there are different parts of stomach. This is the pyloric part. This is cardiac part because it is near to heart. This raised portion is fundus, and this is the main body. This is the J-shaped organ. So muscular walls of stomach help in the mixing of food thoroughly with digestive juices. Gastric glands. In the mouth there were salivary glands. In stomach there is gastric glands. The gastric glands of stomach release the gastric juices. So now when bolus is mixed with gastric juices, it is now called as chyme or chyme as we pronounce it. So what are the components of these gastric juices? It contains HCl, which is hydrochloric acid, mucus, and pepsin. Mucus is a lubricant and pepsin is enzyme. So pepsin is present in the inactive form, which is known as pepsinogen. So in enzymes, when there is suffix of gen or prefix as pro, it denotes the inactive enzyme. So these inactive enzymes need something to activate them. So this is the function of HCl. HCl activates pepsinogen to form pepsin. HCl activates pepsinogen to pepsin. And what is the function of mucus? It is a lubricant. It protects the inner lining of stomach from HCl. As it is an acid, so acid can destroy or it can harm the inner lining. So mucus prevents the harmful effects. So now what is the function of pepsin? It converts proteins to peptides and proteases, right? So there is a muscular structure known as pyloric sphincter. This checks the exit of chyme from stomach to small intestine. Next is small intestine. It is the longest part of alimentary canal, but it looks small due to the coiling. It is highly coiled structure. As I showed earlier, here, this is small intestine. This is highly coiled. So the digestion completes in small intestine and end products are formed. It receives 3 secretions from liver, pancreas, and the secretion of small intestine itself. So liver and pancreas, these are the accessory organs. No digestion takes place here. The food does not reach liver or pancreas, but they contribute in the form of juices and enzymes for the process of digestion. So liver gives bile juice which contains bile salts. Pancreas give pancreatic juices containing trypsin and lipase. These both are the enzymes. And intestinal juice, which is also known as succus entericus, it gives more enzymes. So the chyme coming from the stomach is acidic in nature because of the action of HCl. And what is the function of bile juice? Bile juice is alkaline in nature. So this bile juice makes the acidic chyme coming from stomach alkaline. Also, bile juice performs the emulsification of fats. What is this? This is the breakdown of large fat globules to the smaller ones. So pancreatic juices, these contain enzymes trypsin and lipase. Trypsin acts upon proteins and lipase acts upon emulsified fats. Intestinal juices, this is also known as succus entericus. So there are numerous enzymes present for the completion of digestion of food. All enzymes are for proteins, for fats, for lipids, for carbohydrates, these are present in the intestinal juice and the end products are formed. What are the end products? Proteins are forming amino acids, carbohydrates produce glucose, fats produce fatty acid and glycerol. So food is also absorbed in the small intestine and this is done by villi. So villi are the small finger-like projections like this, which is in the lining of the small intestine wall and also in the large intestine. So now this when the food is absorbed and the unabsorbed food is now sent to large intestine. Large intestine, it is the site of absorption of undigested food. So what is the main function of large intestine? Here the water is absorbed from the undigested food through villi. And the leftover food which is undigested, from which the water is also absorbed, now it is stored in rectum and it is now excreted through anus. So now when we know the complete process of digestion, let us revise and again see with the diagram. This is mouth, hair, teeth, tongue and salivary glands work, and the salivary amylase is secreted which works on the carbohydrates only. Esophagus passes the food from mouth to stomach. It is a J-shaped organ producing HCl, mucus and pepsin. This is the pancreas giving the pancreatic juices. This is gallbladder. Gallbladder stores the bile juices. The main function of gallbladder is only the storage of bile juices. Bile juices are coming from liver. So the food now goes to small intestine. Here pancreatic juices, liver ke bile juices and succus entericus works. Now absorption of food also takes place here and the unabsorbed food goes to large intestine and water is absorbed here. Undigested food is stored in the rectum and excreted through anus. This is the vermiform appendix. This is of no use and it is known as a vestigial organ. So this was all about digestion. I hope it was helpful. For these notes, feel free to ask in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And for more such videos, stay tuned.